So when the empath leaves the narcissist for good, how does the narcissist act? How do they deal with this? Well, of course they're going to be fine in the beginning because they know they're coming back. They don't care what you said. They don't believe it. So they go have a lot of fun, catching up with old supply, current supply, new supply. Probably go back to another current that they have, another one. What mine had was one other major one that she would flip-flop me with, is what I figured out. I mean, I kind of knew all along, but that's where I was honing my intuition. So in that case, it was another narcissist. So she's a Jezebel. We don't diagnose, but along the lines of a somatic covert sociopath. And he is an overt type narcissist. And so, in between her being with me, she would jump back to him, and then she'd come back to me, and she'd do that until I quit. Of course, she had other supplies even. She was doing the whole city, man, Still is, probably. Definitely is. And that's why they say that Jezebel, they're like, the hinges are falling off the door, man, because they've been had so many men in and out of the door that the door's falling off. But with the Jezebel narcissists, they love the overt type narcissists because they're in a covert level. They respect something about that overt asshole, and they are they're full of testosterone, so they're the masculine type narcissist, a female masculine. Like I said, everything is outside of creation with these people. Even when it comes to the genetic makeup, after these devils, these demons have taken over their body, their avatar, their entity, their brain, their mind, everything. They go for the overt narcissist because the overt narcissist is an effeminate man, and so he could be the woman and she could be the man in the relationship, so it kind of works out a little bit. The Jezebel doesn't like a real man. They like effeminate men. That's why, I would only last a little while with her before I would ditch her, because even though I was asleep to this and I was waking up to it, you can't, a real man cannot give his nuts up, man. And that's what you'll find yourself doing with the Jezebel covert, somatic narcissists. They want a man that's going to give their all their man qualities up and let them be the man, and they want the man's going to turn into a man that's with a Jezebel covert narc is a bitch. Okay? And it is what it is. And so but you'll find this a lot, but they can't stay together because they always cheat on each other, and they're not loyal, and, you know, they don't love unconditionally, and, you know, they don't do the things that we do, you know. So it's kind of like they're between a rock and a hard place. They like to have fun with the narcissists, but then they destroy each other after a certain point in time. They destroy each other. And so what you find in this type of dynamic, in my opinion, now, you know, I'm not, you know, certified in this stuff, but in my opinion, what I have dealt with, and that's all I can do is tell you my experience, or, you know, stuff that I've, you know, caught up on or read up on or whatever, is that they like to have fun with each other to some degree. I don't know. Maybe they can, I think to some degree, in my opinion, they can kind of relate because they're both demonic. You know, if it's kind of like if you put two demons together, you know, they're both like, at least they know where each other's coming from to some degree. The problem with that is they don't talk much because, I don't know if well, it's obvious you've been with a narcissist if you're on this channel, but when you're with a narcissist, a lot of times you're doing all of the conversation, not all of it. In the case with, the last one I was with, it was, I mean, we were able to carry on somewhat of good conversation until it got to a point to where it mattered. Does that make sense? On the lighthearted subject of things, we could have good topics of conversation, but sometimes you get wedged up into a situation with a narcissist, or, you know, that they will it'll turn into some sort of maybe an injury or an ethic issue or something, to where that's where they might fly off the handle, so you try to avoid those. So, I mean, but when you get it took a little while to get the narcissist to open up like that, though, for me to do that, or for her to feel comfortable like that, because most narcissists don't, and she wouldn't with other people. I think I was just to a point to where I had passed all her safety marks to where I wasn't gonna like injure her in public, and she knew that. She also knew I wasn't violent in nature, you know, because they test you for stuff like that. That my heart was good and pure, and so with all of those checks that I passed and everything, and how much love that you pour out to them, they know it, and they know, you know, what they can do. The only problem is that sometimes they carry the abuse to the umpteenth level, because they know also that you're not going to retaliate like to that degree. Although, when you awake and fully and you learned the narcissist's ways of doing business, and you grew up in it, so you already kind of knew these things on the outtake, but didn't really know the patterns. It comes back to you very quickly and very easily on how this stuff works. It's kind of like, I grew up with this, so I understand the nature of it. And when you are enmeshed with it in your family, it's like you have a different kind of understanding than some. In my case, that's kind of how I reflect on it. And I have a good memory about my past and stuff, and you know, it's pretty vivid to me, you know. So it's like it was something that I was able to, it came a little bit quickly, more naturally to me, the understanding side of it. And I could probably destroy her if I wanted to. by not doing too much, really. So, I mean, I don't think that that an individual that's awoke and understands and knows how the workings of it, that they shouldn't mess with them, because if you piss them off, if you piss somebody like me off enough and you're a narcissist, I can bring it and I could tear your ass up. So, but before, not the case. But I can hand it back, man. On a level that's unemotional. So, but they like each other because they can have fun with each other. But then they end up like usually the higher. What happens is that they end up getting in a lot of a lot of rage, to where they may chase each other with cars and bash one into the other. I mean, like, really getting really bad heated arguments. And I wouldn't doubt it if there's physical abuse involved too, because from what I hear and what seems to be a lot of textbook knowledge and individuals that have been in this, that are female, that at some point in time the male effeminate narcissist is afraid of men, but he's not afraid to get physically abusive with a woman. And so I wouldn't doubt it but the Jezebel is full of testosterone, so the Jezebel will probably I think in the case of the Jezebel, will hand it right back. So, I mean, they might go fist for fist or something, Of course, the Jezebel will probably be overpowered by the male. But that's how they roll. The male effeminate narcissist is afraid of men, real men, but not of women. So, usually leads to some sort of physical abuse a lot of times. And what happens is when the effeminate man will start issues and problems with even other women, like they'll cheat on the covert Jezebel that they're seeing, and then the Jezebel will fix it. It's like they have different personalities outside of the relationship and dynamics than the relationship that, of course, we have with them. But this is the thing, they end up destroying each other because they're lying, cheating, and stealing, and hating, and of course there's deceit, and there's envy, and there's if one has success over the other, I mean, they really can destroy each other toward the end. And so the higher powered demon narcissist is going to, like, if you have a mid-range and a low range, whatever, is going to overpower the other one. And that's where the dynamics is going to fall apart. But also, even in private, though, they don't talk very much. And they're always lying and cheating and hiding. Like, you talk about them being on their cell phone, always working on new supply and sending photos or whatever they're doing, idiotic shit. Mine used to send me nude pictures all the time. And stuff like that. And so, but yeah, and they're always cheating on each other, and eventually that takes its toll. And they also know that they can't be loyal to each other, and they have to, if they do seek a partner to marry, and it's got to be an empath. I don't know. I feel like they both wouldn't settle for each other. They have to have an empath, or else they would have to come to a point of agreement that they're going to have an open marriage. I mean, that's the only way two narcissists can make it. But a lot of times they're jealous and greedy, and they want ownership. So if they want ownership, they want you to be loyal, and they don't want to be expected to be loyal. And they also they don't want to be abandoned. And with another narcissist, they'll abandon you very quickly, and they know that. And so eventually, they can't be having that going on. But my ex, man, she was, even the narcissist that she's with, that I'm talking about, a lot of times she stole him out from his original girlfriend, while he was married. How do you like that one? And has a kid. I mean, it's ridiculous. These guys are like the most despicable people in the world. And then, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. I don't keep up with it, but I think she's supposed to be with him again, but he's married. He's married and has kids, and she tried to tell me a long time ago, but she didn't know any better. She didn't know. She was with him 2 years off and on, but didn't know. I mean, okay. I'll be an idiot. Okay. But yeah, so, but then they end up, you know, needing to come back to the empath to get, you know, filled up and loved and cared for, because that's what they really like, you know. But this is the thing, they like to have both, and that's why I think that this was the perfect situation for the one that I was with, because and then they have also a bunch of other side supplies, and I know that there is, you know, 4 in total, if not more. That's of us that she was flipping from. That's terrible. You're supposed to be giving your all to somebody that's supposed to be your partner, and they're with 3 other people while you're not watching. But this is how the Jezebel is, and so is the overt narcissist. I mean, you know, they love money too, Jezebel. She, you know, they'd be with each other just so, you know, their Jezebels are cheap, man. They don't spend a damn dime on your ass. I mean, they'll throw they'll give you sex though, man. They'll give it to you at the drop of a hat, man. You know, if you take their crap. But when it comes to, like, they're complete hoes, man. They are whores, man. But they're like, they end up both being whores between the two of them. But then they have to go and they like to have the excitement together, but then they end up destroying each other, and then they got to recover with their empaths. So they both kind of like retreat to find that empath partner that they have on the other one. Like, so, you know, like they'll spend, you know, several months with the narcissist, both the male and the female, and then they'll go find their, you know, they'll go back to their empathic partner and spend about that much time recovering. And then they end up, devaluing, discarding you again, and they go back with, and then in between, you know, they have the other ones, the other 2, you know, that's how kind of the cycle was with the one I was with. And then, you know, they had a open relationship with the other 2. So the open relationship with the other 2 were kind of like they could just come over and have sex with them and leave. And the other person was cool, you know, with that. I don't know how you could do that. So you'll have like a bunch of dicks inside you, and then it's like, okay, come on over. I'm gonna stick mine in there too. I mean, no, I can't have that. It's crazy. Sorry for my my lewd speech today, but this is how it is, though. This is how they live, and this is the real reality of it. And sometimes you got to hear the gory reality of it, the horrific reality of it, because this is what you get tied up into. And then before you know it, you can go on with this for years, and then it's fruitless and destructive, very destructive. Like mine used to tell me, don't call me a whore, but you're a whore. What do you want me to tell you? Anyway, so then that's how things work. But when you don't take them back, then what happens is they don't believe you. But then when they come to hoover you after several months of being away, and you turn down the hoover, then they're kind of like shocked, man. They're like, oh my God, man, this guy really stood his ground. What the hell? So then they get a little nervous, but not too much, because they're like, no biggie. They just had a wild hair or something, I'm gonna fix this. And then when I get them back, I'm gonna punish them real good, But then, they have other side supplies, like I said, they got the people they spend, a couple weeks here and there with, or, their emergency supply, or their vacation supply, the guy that takes them on a vacation a couple times a year for sex, so they'll hoe themselves out for a vacation, a free vacation, because that's what the Jezebel does. They hoe themselves out for anything, for supply, for a dinner. They'll hoe themselves out for new sex with somebody. They'll hoe themselves out for a trip, a purse, a new purse. They'll just hoe themselves out. And so, what do you call it? I call it a prostitute. You're a prostitute. You're a legal prostitute. And that's not who you want to be like trying to settle down with, Who the hell wants that? That's like a, what they are too. They're addicted to, they say they're addicted to sex, but they're not really addicted to sex. They're addicted to having sex for the supply of the sex. And that's what the Jezebel is. And the overt narcissist, I think that they actually like the sex for similar reasons. But they, they both go both ways, because they don't have a type, because they don't have an inner soul. So they're always looking for outside validation, because there's nothing inside. So that's why they could be with anybody. And we're not saying a proclaimed even gay individual or a bisexual individual. They claim to be heterosexual, but they'll do anything in any which way. And they'll even do threesomes and stuff, all that stuff. They do all of that lewd shit. And, when you start thinking about the long game with them, you can't afford to be giving your full heart up to somebody that's going to be cheating on you like that. Because, and somebody can end up getting really hurt, man, when you lose your heart like that to somebody. And then you find out stuff like that, you might go on some real hurtful retaliation thing. That's why, it talks about in the Bible, man, you don't want to mess with somebody else's wife, or husband. Because you're really getting into, and this is what you see, a lot of domestic abuse or disputes and stuff that happen are definitely over relationships and sex. But let's go even further. We're talking about like people that are married in a covenant, and at least one of the two individuals believes that they believe in the covenant, and the other one's cheating all the time. That can end up getting very violent. And that's what you see in the news a lot, in my opinion. Those cop shows and stuff. A lot of times those cop shows, when they're going to someone's house, man, it's because somebody, it's either drugs or it's a sex issue, man, where somebody got violent. And you don't need your heart twisted up like that to where you can get in a predicament, to where you have to deal with that stuff. That's why it's good to be able to, you gotta be able to look down the road in situations with certain people, with everybody. What happens if that happens and it never stops? It's like the hurt and the things that could get conjured up through that, man. And you need to stop that type of relationship, man, because that's what that kind of stuff can lead to. We're talking about serious violence when somebody cheats on their husband or wife, some people, man, they lose it. And I get it. So the best thing that you can do, if you know better, if you don't know better, you don't know better. But if you know better, you need to avoid those at all costs. because the last thing you need to do is end up behind bars because of some idiot that you were with that you couldn't trust, and you ended up becoming a loose cannon over it down the road because of what they did and the circumstances that they put you in, but you allowed it because you knew better. Now, if you don't know better, you don't know better, then, you know, but you don't need to set yourself up for stuff like that. And so, that shit is not something that you want to be like. You don't want to deal with that. And so that's what they do, though. They go from, you know, they go from the empath to the narcissist, and then back to the empath. But when the empath isn't there anymore, they don't have that love anymore. See, they can't, they want the empath to marry, but they're going to always continually, they're never going to leave the narcissist. The Jezebel's never going to leave the narcissist, and the narcissist is never going to leave the Jezebel. They can't be together, but they're always going to cheat with each other, you know? So in the case of mine, you know, she's going to always be with the narcissist off and on. And he's always going to do the same, but they're never going to have a life together. They're just going to have a little fun and then destroy each other. They don't understand love. The only thing they understand is destroying, and they understand being able to emotionally, you know, screw people up around them, and that's what they get energy off of, and that's what they live for, and that's why they get off on each other like that. Have you ever had a friend you could go out and party with them back in the day, and you guys would kind of get off on each other's energy, kind of like you know, you guys would have a great time. I had a couple of best friends like that, man. I mean, we would go out and, you know, I mean, we would wherever we was, we'd make it a party, you know. I don't know. I've never been with two narcissists. You know, I don't know what it would be like for two narcissists to be together. Actually, I think they're very boring. I think what they call fun is like maybe being at a restaurant and pissing off everybody at the restaurant. I have no idea. That's the kind of stuff where they get off on. That's the adrenaline. And the adrenaline is their arguments that they get into. They actually, to a regular person, you'd be like, I don't want that shit. But, you know, the overt narcissist is a huge cheat, and so is the Jezebel. So it's like, I don't know what they actually live for exactly in that case, but it has to do with they understand each other, and they like to fight with each other until the destroying comes and the injury comes, and they abuse other people together. So I guess this is how it works. And then you don't take them back, and then when you don't take them back, that the second Hoover comes, it'll be, and then you have them blocked. Then they're like, oh shit, now they starting to get real like sweaty. They're starting to sweat and stuff, and then they're trying to text you, you got them blocked. Ooh, they don't like that. And you've been no contact for like months. And now they're looking at their calendar like, man, it's been months. I didn't realize how long it's been. The empath's never been no contact for several months. Then they really start sweating. They start looking at the calendar. It's been a long, long time. And they're like, oh my God, I wasn't paying attention to them, and they healed up. And this is why I say, you know, you want them to have fun out there with their supplies, because it gives you the time to really heal that no contact, and they're not bothering you, and you ain't trying to catch up with them. You letting them go, like just you know, blend it in, man. That gives you time to heal. It sucked for a while, but now you're healing. Now you're able to like say no. You know, to say no to drugs. I mean, they become a drug for you. That's what they do to you. They know what they're doing, and so you then they got to email you, and then you might say a few words like kiss my ass, and which you probably don't want to do anything really. But sometimes, you know, you feel like you have to say something like, yeah, you say kiss my ass or something, or nothing at all. But then, you know, you're just send them to spam, you know, and then when their emails come through after that, they're all going to spam. I mean, or block them somehow. I don't know. For me, I just send them to spam, and then after that, they're like, oh shit. So then they'll start, you know, stalking you, and then they're gonna be like, you know, then the narcissist, then they're gonna break up. You know, the narcissist he's gonna break up with her or whatever, because they can't last long, and then they're gonna be like really having problem. So the next thing is they're gonna be forced to go to these weekend supply or those fun supply. They might go on a vacation, and so they could prostitute for sex, or they'll be hitting them dating sites up hard, man, finding any scrub they can. They might even go find some drug addict on the street and have sex with them. Who knows? Depending on how thirsty they are for supply, they'll do anything. They'll do anything. They start raging on their family. They start beating on animals. Anything to take it out on. And when you don't want them back, then when they go to the supplies they're going to, they'll start raging on them, because now they're starting to ruminate on you, you know. And then they're like, well, I'm gonna go silent treatment on them. I'm gonna do this. They're gonna come back to me, you know, because you know they've been reaching out and that ain't working, so they're gonna try, you know, to stave this off by silent treatment, and then a couple more months go by, man, and now they're like, I have to get them back. I can't continue silent treatment, because now they're just healing up more and more. They're breaking that trauma bond, you know. I got to reinstitute that trauma bond. I got to throw sex at them, man, bad, quick. I got to put it on them good, you know. But then they come to you in person. They'll be like gang stalking you and get the flying monkeys together, get their little worm machine, their little you know, they're like a newspaper stand, you know. They're gonna get their reporters and send them out, you know, get some intel on you. Then they're gonna come back, because you know they're gonna be checking in with you, flying up with their you know, with their wings on. You know, kind of, when you start seeing the flying monkeys around, man, you need to know the narcissist sent them. Narcissists getting desperate. So then the flying monkeys come around and you ain't get shit to say. They be trying to inquire about you and the narcissist. Man, you'd be like, man, I don't talk to that woman no more. It's been a long time. I don't want shit to do with that. That's been over. That's old. And they go back, they don't have nothing to say to the narcissist. I don't got no intel for you. Then they start raging on them. Then they gotta go find you in person. They don't even like doing that, because their pride is like, I'm supposed to be their God. I'm God. You're a shitty ass God if you a God. You're a 4-year-old in a human adult body. So that's kind of how that kind of goes down. And then you're gonna reject them again in person. Then they're gonna be pissed. Then it turns into like smear campaign type stuff. Anyway, yeah. They're miserable. They don't know what to do then. Then they'll be like, damn it, I should have kept that supply. I had it good. But I abused them to the point to where they ain't never coming back now. And now they're going to be pissed at the narcissist, because, you know, the narcissist, because they kept flocking to the narcissist all the time and spending so much time fucking off on you with them, you know, it kind of taught you up, you know, to get you to where, you know, you got sick of it. And that was kind of the original root cause that led to a lot of your healing. So you got to thank the narcissist and the other narcissists for doing what they did, you know. I mean, and that's how things go with them. But they always make poor decisions, because they always push people to the limit. And then people, I mean, even if you're an idiot, you're going to figure out at some point that you have nothing to lose to leave this fool. because they have absolutely nothing to give. And they just like to grind your face in the dirt, man, more and more. But you know what? The good thing, thank God, man, that there is a good God, because, you know, what does the Lord say is better than a thing in the end than a thing in the beginning, because what he's going to turn you into is a powerful individual. You're going to stand your ground and you're going to grow on yourself. The narcissist doesn't grow. They just continually go backwards. And so the narcissist gets more and more envious of you. And then, you know, they're going to continue to try to hoover you. They're going to talk about you for the rest of their life, man, because you know why? They know what you gave them. They know how you fueled them. And they're always trying to knock you off kilter. They like you to wobble. That's why they actually get into your emotions first. They want you to wobble. Like a weeble wobble. But then what happens is they, when you reject them, and continue to reject them, and then you start healing, and you start getting better than ever, you start really shining, man. And then they're wobbling now. They're going like that. They've always wobbled, but they start falling down. They start getting sick, calling out of work, you know. They start like turning into a hermit, you know. They start getting ashy, you know. They only had the energy to go out to do anything. And you over here, you know, you growing, you reinventing, you know, you taking up ground you ain't never taken before, because they put you in a state of passion to where you ain't giving up now. Now you're full on determined to heal, because now you have passion. I mean, you had passion before, but now, man, now it's on. Now you got that war passion going on, you know? You're girding up the loins of your mind now, you know? You're putting on that belt of truth, you know? And the feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and that breastplate of righteousness, you know? That helmet of salvation, the shield of faith, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, right? And so, I mean, we fail and we fall, but we want to fail and fall forward, and then we want to get back up and keep moving, keep striding, keep pressing on. That's what we do. The narcissists, they just go in a circle to nowhere. They're like on the short bus, you know. I shouldn't say that. I take that back. They're on the bus, a bus that's to nowhere. Like you know, you think you're going to school to learn something. You think you're getting somewhere. Except all they're doing is they're putting you on the bus. You're not getting educated. You're just going around the block and getting dropped off at the stop sign again. And, but yeah, anything that runs in a circle, it hollows you out, and it's fruitless, and it's to nowhere. And so you got to keep in mind, because what the Lord does to a person that has growth in their life is more of a linear. You're going forward. You're like what the Bible would say is, like, I think, plowing the field, you know. Keep the ox to the plow, and you look straight ahead, not to the left and not to the right. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. You know, keep your blinders on when it comes to plowing the field, man. You know, like the horse with the blinders, you know, when they're running at the Kentucky Derby, right? They just looking straight. They're keeping their eyes on the prize, you know. The narcissists, their prize is seeking for the ultimate perfection in a love partner that is unattainable, for that partner to fix all of the sin in their life and all of their constructs, and then also to do all of the evil, get the evil reaction and the good reaction all out of the same person. And that's all a lie. They actually are inherently evil and there's nothing good in them anymore. And they're lying to themselves and they're in Peter Pan land. And they're in a fake fantasy Wizard of Oz land and never to return. What returned is their physical body, but their spirit is forever stuck in some fantasy world in another dimension, and it's not good for them. It's like they're dead people walking, damned. Like what? Romans chapter 1, man. Y'all got to read that. Anyway, all for today. It was a long one. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Be safe, and give me a like, a thumbs up, subscribe. Stand tall. Peace out. Love y'all. Peace.